Court will come to order. It is Monday, July the 14th, 2022, 9 o'clock in the morning, and the Kerr County Commissioners Court is now in session. If you would, please turn your phones to mute so they don't interrupt the proceedings, or off. That's fine too. But with that, if you would, please stand for the prayer and the pledge, which will be led by Commissioner Harris.
Please bow your heads. Lord, thank you for another blessed day you provided for us. Please give us some rain. I know you provided some of our residents in Kerr County with a little bit over the weekend, but we're still in dire need of more. We thank you for all that you provide us with. We thank you for our first responders that protect us and look over us day in and day out. Please be with those that are in foreign lands. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning. First part of our agenda is always public input. This is your opportunity to come tell the court what you want us to hear. Unfortunately, we don't have the opportunity to respond because we don't know what the topic is, but we do have the opportunity to listen. We ask that you identify yourself and your address, limit your remarks to 3 minutes, and that it be on a topic that is not on the agenda. If what you would like to address the court about is on the agenda, we ask you to wait until that agenda item is called. So with that, is there any public input? There being none, we'll go ahead and proceed to Commissioner's comments. Precinct 1.
I heard a lot of people talking about the sage blooming and they knew it was going to rain. Well, I pulled up to my house Saturday morning and my driver's side window wouldn't go up on my truck, so then I knew it was going to rain. And it did. And it rained pretty good at our house, so we appreciate it.
I have nothing.
4.
My rainjet gauge was dry, but my sage was blue. That's all I got.
Well, I'll add that the sage was blooming, and we got what I would call sympathy tears. God cried on us, but we didn't get very much. Okay. Anything else? With that, we're going to pass on item 1 and move on to item 2, which is, I'm going to ask Jenna Saunders if she would come forward. Up here with us, you get to stand on the stage. Yeah, either side's fine. 1.2. They passed on 1.1. Well, it is my distinct honor to recognize Jenna Sanchez. Jennifer Sanchez, but for those of us that know her, we call her Jenna because she asked us to. But for those of you that don't know, our regular Veterans Services Officer has been out on active duty for some time now. Quite a period of time, as a matter of fact. And she had done a wonderful job, so good that when we brought Jenna on as part-time, we thought we had the solution at hand, that we had 2 great gals to do this, and we were making great strides with Veterans Services. Then Marty got called back to active duty. And so we took our part-time Veteran Service Officer and asked her to be full-time, which she did, and has stayed that way with us. And I can tell you that but for Jenna Sanchez, Veteran Services would have been dead in the water, frankly. And this is the Above and Beyond Award. What you have done is, and military, we recognize this, above and beyond the call of duty. It's been above and beyond the call of duty, and this county is eternally grateful to your services. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Also.
Cameras.
Oh, cameras?
There you go.
Want me to send that to Lisa?
Yes.
That'd be good.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Some of y'all are old enough to remember Paul Harvey and the rest of the story. Well, the rest of the Jenna Sanchez stories, I was supposed to do that on Memorial Day. And in the excitement of things, sitting there talking to the general, I forgot. And so we had to do it today, and I apologize, Jenna.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Very good. Then moving on, staying on the same topic with Veteran Services, item 1.3 is to consider, discuss, and take appropriate action to accept a quarterly report from the Veterans Advisory Council, Gary Nolan. And Gary, if you would, please identify your advisory council members. Once you get to the podium so the public knows.
Morning, Gary Noller, 140 Ray Drive, Center Point. The Veterans Advisory Committee is here. Byron Warren, Jeff Harris, Vicki Marsh. We also have Mark Del Toro in the back. He was very helpful in the Memorial Day activities this year, and glad he could join us. We certainly do appreciate the fact that you recognize Jenna. We totally agree with you. She has done a wonderful job. We received her quarterly report. I'm not going to go into the report. I think you probably have it in writing. But there are certain things that we look at, and we know she keeps busy, and we know she's meeting the needs, what I call improving the life of veterans, their dependents, and survivors in Kerr County. And this leads into the kind of the second topic. We talked about we had two slots, full-time and part-time. Jenna's been working full-time, and we'd like to request as a committee that the budget be approved that would allow for two full-time. If Jenna were to want to extend beyond, I know she had initially agreed to part-time, but if she would extend to go full-time as well as have a second full-time person in there, if there would be funds to do that. We asked for that because we believe there's unmet demand. If she was sitting in there cutting coupons out of the Sunday paper because she didn't have anything else to do, that'd be one thing.
We know better than that.
But there's demand out there, and certainly we would hope that the citizens of Kerr County would not oppose such an increase in the budget. The final thing I have here on my schedule is in May of every year the Department of Veterans Affairs publishes what they call their geographical distribution of expenditures, in which is broken down in all counties in the United States, and the VA basically states this is how much money the VA has expended on behalf of residents in that county. So I went back to 2012. The total expenditures for Kerr County in 2012 was $60 million. Went back to 2002, the current report 2022, which is the fiscal year 2021, which ended September 30th last year. So we're about 9 months behind on this report. $103 million. So it went from $60 million to $103 million, which is a 73% increase. Now one might argue that there's adjusted in there, and it is, some of that's adjusted, but not 7%. So there's increase. At that same time, the number of veterans in the county decreased about 10%. And most of that's probably by us losing World War II veterans, Korean War veterans, and Vietnam veterans, and the veterans following that block is not as big a block of veterans as that World War II, the Vietnam block. So in order to kind of get a gauge on performance, it's like you're working with fewer people, but you're getting a lot more money, and it's got to be accounted for more than just inflation is raising that up there. And I will say that I believe that a huge amount of that is due to the work of veteran service officers, because if veterans don't have a veteran service officer they can go to, they're probably missing out on a whole heck of stuff that they can get. So that's one of the things that one of the scorecards, only one of the scorecards, is what can you show for the expenditures that the VA is making in your county, because some of that's got to be reflected through the work of your service officers. So that's all I have today. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Any questions or comments? One thing I would note, Gary, is that I don't know if the people at home really appreciate this, but the county provides for the Veteran Services Office here and for the employees to do this. And that's part of our local government partnership with the federal government that provides the benefits. One hand helps the other. And that's been something that we in Kerr County have been proud to provide for our veterans. So thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Item 1.4, consider, discuss, take appropriate action to approve the Thomson Reuters Westlaw agreement for the Hill Country Regional Public Defender's Office. I don't see Vanessa. Is she here?
typically a standard.
I do believe Heather approved the agreement, so I don't know.
This is a routine thing, and it's for the Public Defender's Office. Ultimately, this will transfer down to Medina County. But for the time being, to keep the contract in place, I'll go ahead and make a motion that we approve this, at least for the time being.
Second.
Any other discussion or questions?
Authorization for you to sign?
Hmm?
Do you have to sign? Authorization to sign, Sam?
It's a contract.
It's a contract to do.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Well, last I checked to do. I better ask the boss, can I sign it? Okay.
Did you say can you or did you?
Uh,
We had a couple of those.
So with that, those in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous, 4-0. Moving on to item 1.5, consider, discuss, and take appropriate action to approve an agreement with the Enterprise Fleet Management for a lease of a new vehicle for Precinct 4 Constable and allow the county judge to sign same. Mr. Ryder, you're back again.
I'm back again.
Better news?
Unfortunately, no. We're here probably a year ago. The current budget is $62.86 for a new vehicle. It still has not been manufactured, as I've reported numerous times, but they do have one available. Should be delivered this month. Exact date I do not know, but I did the math and I talked to Commissioner Les at one point, auditor. It kind of is what it is. The only increase that I've added to the vehicle at all, other than the normal cost of the vehicle, is a camera system that's financed in with it, and it's $97.85 for the camera system. And just before the discussion or asking questions, that's not the top of the line camera. But point being is from last year to now to the current truck, on the yearly amount is $7,299.80 more. I came to y'all before in an increase, and it was approved, but now that they still haven't manufactured that increase, they got this truck, it's even more money. Previously on a monthly note, it was somewhere in the neighborhood of $525, and now it's somewhere in the neighborhood of $1132. So that's my dilemma. And so that's why I came with you with these numbers and to see if we can move forward or not.
So,
Are you talking about the payment, the monthly payment amount
Yes, sir.
1132?
Yes, sir.
versus 5?
Yes, sir. And I'll tell you, on June the 1st, I got a quote from Enterprise, and it was somewhere, don't hold me to this number, but somewhere in the neighborhood of $954, I believe. 7 days later, it's $1132.15. So I don't know I can't get a straight answer why it increased, other than the camera is what they keep using for an example. Even if we took the camera out, you're still looking at $400 or $500 more than it was. So.
well, I'm in one of my dilemmas again, because I really agree with Commissioner Baloo. I'm tired of not knowing what we can do here. We need to have a come to Jesus sit-down meeting with Enterprise to see where we are on all this stuff. This is pretty radical.
I agree. I've tried over
And
the
this is
phone.
no reflection on you, Brad?
Yeah.
None whatsoever, or your office.
I've
This
talked
is,
about 3 different people, to tell you the truth, and there's one lady now that says she has the Kerr County account, and the previous person that had that took a promotion and moved out of state. So I don't know if that was some of the problem, and if he knew things she didn't know, or vice versa. But I don't have an answer for you either. But
well, if they've got an account representative, I want to talk to her personally.
okay.
Okay, and we'll set up a meeting. I don't think that, I'm recommending no action on this so we can get to the bottom of it.
Right.
We've got to have better explanations than just doubling and coming in here with all this stuff.
This.
Doubled it.
They need to come talk to
Yeah.
us
Yeah.
on this. This is getting ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, you're caught in the crossfire.
I'm telling you, I've had the same conversation on the phone until I just got literally stuttered. So
Well, I think part of what's happening is a lot of these people are realizing that this supply chain thing, no matter what side you're on in economics, supply and demand is the rule wherever you go. And I think some of them are starting to figure out that it works to their advantage. And this is textbook example of having you over the barrel. If anybody ever wondered what that expression means, this is what it means.
Well, it darn sure looks that way.
Yeah.
Good grief.
But they aren't the only, I mean, I know we deal with them normally, but we may not.
Well, but to your credit, this has come up on vehicles time and time again, and we've been lenient, trying to go along to make sure that we can provide the equipment that you need to do your job.
Right.
This is getting to the point where we need to have a face-to-face with them to make sure that we know exactly where we are.
I've seen other departments stand here and have the same issues. So
Yeah.
yeah, but
Sheriff, can you allow anything? I mean, you're dealing with them in a much larger scale. Are you having problems or perceived in the future problems like this?
Well, they're going up. I mean, we haven't had a major issue yet. We're starting to get our vehicles. We lack 5 yet, but you know, cost is going up.
Well, and this is a conversation that we certainly want to invite you to attend.
Well, yeah, no, I'll call and set it up. I'm pretty
yeah.
close with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
But don't they consider us a large client? Are we not one of their large clients?
I wouldn't think
No,
so.
you
We're
got
not.
places like Laredo or hundreds,
Yeah.
Houston, hundreds and hundreds of them. I mean, they still find them for us, but you know what I see, like in everything else at the sheriff's office, everything's going up. It's kind of demand and supply. They are starting to get more, you know, but they are going up the cost.
So
of
the
it.
issue is that it's a national company.
Oh yeah, yeah, they are. They sell it all over. But like,
So we don't really matter to them.
well, I don't want to say that. You know, we don't matter.
I just said it, you don't have to say it.
Okay, I mean, business is business. I mean,
It's obvious we don't matter a lot
Yeah,
to them,
it's-
because they're gonna charge us full retail and tag us with another 10%. So that doesn't sound like they care about our business very much to me.
Yeah, I'm not gonna comment on that. But I mean, they are getting us our stuff. But I'll holler at them and get a meeting set up.
Good. Okay, thanks. Moving on, item 1.6 is to consider, discuss, and take appropriate action to approve a correction to the FY23 HEBP renewal. And you see the attachment there in your materials. We approved a renewal application with TAC for our insurance benefits. And the one item that needed to be corrected had to do with the amount of the county's contribution for the employee and spouse. There's employee and spouse, and employee and family. And the employee and family was, I think, $17.40 a month is the county's and some change. That's the county's contribution. And the amount that was put in the initial application that I initialed and signed, we're talking about signing and initialing, I signed it, initialed it, was sent into TAC to have employee and spouse at the same rate of $17.40 and some change. We learned from TAC that the correct amount is $1,080, which is a significant savings, and it's what it was previous years, so it's more consistent. And so TAC helped us discover this error. We've corrected it, and what we're trying to do now is to ratify correcting that application.
I move for approval.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to approve the TAC application for the HEBP renewal. Any other discussion? Those in,
Sorry, can part of that be to, blank on the word, but the original court order, we need
To rescind that?
rescind there, keep wanting to say redact. So rescind the original court order, because this is different people.
yeah, we can, I'll include that we rescind the original court order and supplement it with this corrected court order for the exact amounts.
Good.
So, any other discussion? Those in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous, 4-0. Item 1.7, consider, discuss, and take appropriate action to surplus 2 desks for the Kerr County Attorney's Office. Mr. Moose,
Yes, Your Honor.
go to the podium. The public hasn't seen you. This puts you on YouTube. This is your debut.
Hunter Moose, County Attorney's Office. I just got a new desk. The desk that I had, the legs fell off as they carried it out of the
Well, don't quit sitting on it.
room I had. So we just wanted permission to allow maintenance to dispose of the broken desks.
I move for approval.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to approve the surplusing of the desk in the County Attorney's Office. Any discussion? Those in favor, raise your hand. Thanks, Hunter.
Thank you.
Okay. 1.8, consider, discuss, and take appropriate action to adopt the current IRS mileage and meal rates as may be amended. Ms. Shelton.
Yes, this is a follow-up to our last Commissioners Court meeting. So this wording, according to the county attorney, will allow us to change our rates whenever the IRS changes theirs.
So just could continue.
Yes.
What's the percentage it went up this time?
Ooh, I don't have the percentage, but it went up 4 cents
Okay.
for the
Mileage.
Mileage, yeah. And then the per diem
That's the next item.
Well,
is going up also.
this includes both of them. The motion in front of you right now would include both of
That
them.
that just ties us to the IRS rate.
Yes.
That we're going to follow the IRS rate.
Yes.
Okay, good. For per diem and mileage. Good. Any discussion?
I move for approval.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to approve the motion as presented. Any discussion? Those in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous, 4-0. 1.9, consider, discuss, and take appropriate action to assign meal rates as breakfast at $13, lunch $18, and dinner $28. And this is a county policy at this.
This is the rate that's currently before us from the IRS is $59. The last rate that, or the rate that Kerr County's been following for a while is $46. It hasn't been changed in a while.
And this changes it to 59?
And this changes it to 59, which is the current rate. And we're just saying breakfast at 13, lunch $18, and dinner for 28. There are times when the timing of your conferences that you go to, you may get breakfast paid for you as part of your registration fee. So that's why we kind of break it up instead of just a total rate.
Okay.
I move for approval.
Okay. I'll second it.
So we got a motion and a second to approve this. Any discussion? Okay, those in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous?
I can say I can eat a lot cheaper. I know how to do it.
I do too.
I can teach them how to do it if they are interested. So.
Okay, where we are in our agenda right now, if you look down there, we have timed items beginning at 1.10 through 1.15, which we're not there. So we're ahead of schedule, so we're going to skip over to the approval agenda and go to 2.1, which is the budget amendments.
You have 6 budget amendments before you. Most of these are just department and interdepartment transfers. We do have 2 that are hitting the contingency. The first budget adjustment that you see there is for professional services and vehicle insurance. And then the second one that hits a contingency is payroll contingency. We had a couple of employees that went from like themselves and then added their family later, so that causes the amount that Kerr County pays for that to go up.
And that's through the end of the fiscal year?
Yes.
This amount?
Yes, definitely.
That's a lot.
Okay.
I move for approval.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to approve the budget amendments as presented. Any discussion? Those in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous, 4-0. Item 2.2, pay the bills.
Invoices for today's consideration, $692,927.95.
I move for approval.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to approve the bills to pay the bills as presented. Any discussion? Those in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous. 2.3, late bills.
We have late bills of $10,296.51.
Move for approval.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to pay the late bills as presented. Any discussion? Those in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous, 4-0. Auditor reports.
Just a heads up, for several months now, the treasurer's office, the IT department, HR, and the auditor's office has been meeting concerning in code 10. And so we will be bringing our recommendation forward to you at the next meeting.
This is the preview of coming events.
Yes.
And just a brief explanation so the public understands. Remind us what Code 10 will do for us.
Encode 10 is our financial system that we use, and so it is going to be an improvement over Encode 9 that we've been using for a long time. Part of the reason we're doing this move is because the number of funds that the county has is over 100, and so part of this move is so that we can have more than 100 funds at the county.
And the system we presently have, we're limited to 100.
Limited to 100.
So this is just a matter of growth and necessity.
And there's a whole lot more that we like about it, but that was the major,
Upgrades.
yes,
Yeah.
reason that we started it.
Very good. Any other questions? Thank you. 2.5, monthly reports.
Yes. For May 2022 payroll report, County Treasurer Tracy Sullivan. For June 2022 environmental health, OSFF, Director Ashley Batters. District Clerk Dawn Lance. Constables, Precinct 1 Tommy Rodriguez. Precinct 2 Kyle Snyder. Precinct 3 Paul Gonzalez. Precinct 4 Brad Ryder. Justice of the Peace, Precinct 2 J.R. Horn. Precinct 3 Kathy Mitchell. County Auditor Tanya Shelton. I move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the monthly reports as presented. Is there any discussion? Those in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous 4-0. And then finally, court orders.
I haven't had a chance to go through them yet for Commissioner Letts.
And Commissioner Letts is absent today, so why don't we defer those to next board meeting?
Sounds good.
So with that, we'll move on to the information agenda. We usually don't get to this early, but any department heads have a status report to make to the court. Okay, there being none, we'll move on to 3.2, which is elected officials. Ms. Dowdy.
Quick announcement regarding the CJIS reporting for criminal dispositions and juvenile dispositions. In order to obtain the grant, one of the qualifications is that the county meet a 90% completeness percentage report, and we have hit that, so yay.
Good.
Amen.
And this John Morse that sends out the notices, and he's an eager beaver. I think I get a notice every other day on him. But it's kept us on our toes, and congratulations.
It's a big county effort, I think. Let me get there. Several departments in the county make this happen, and so I think it would be prudent for the court to maybe put on the agenda to recognize certain individuals, maybe put out an email to certain departments that may have their hand in it. I know I have several in my office. I know the sheriff's department at the jail has several people, even people over in Kerrville City Police Department. I mean, it starts from the arrest all the way to the disposition, and to make sure everything's reported correctly. So.
And so that people understand what we're talking about here, the state requires reporting from the counties with regard to our criminal cases. And this is a very stringent requirement. And if we don't meet their requirement, then we lose our qualification to be able to receive grants. So it's a huge issue. And it is involved through many different departments here at the county, a coordinated effort. And that's what she's saying. And feel free to put it on the agenda. We'll be happy to deal with it. Because we appreciate the good work to stay up with this. Like I said, I probably get at least, two reminders a week, 3. And of course, there's not much I can do except ask y'all to do it. But I don't even have to do that because y'all voluntarily do this and keep us in compliance. And it's greatly appreciated.
So I'll get with the sheriff's department at least as a start to do that. All right.
Good.
All right, thanks.
Okay, 3.3, status reports from any liaison commissioners.
This probably isn't exactly the spot to do it, but I'm gonna do it anyway. I've been talking to several people from Headwaters, and just for the public's information, we jumped from stage 1 to stage 3 as far as our drought situation, and that's pretty drastic. I asked them to come to the next commissioner's court, kind of give a state of the union where we're at and where we're going, because quite frankly, we don't see any relief between now and 2 weeks from now anyway, and it's just gonna get worse. So I think a little public awareness needs to come about, and I think that somebody from Headwaters will be here to talk to us about it. And I just want people to realize that restrictions are taking place for permitted wells in the county.
Very good.
They say that the lake in Waco is down 7 feet. It's going on all over the state.
Sure, we're not alone, but
We're not alone.
gotta be careful.
I think that's a good idea. Yeah, along those same lines, what I will report is a lot of people I don't think really appreciated the problems we had with the fires in West Kerr County. It was over 500 acres. It was huge. Fought it for several days. We had the Texas Forest Service in here. We got tremendous assistance from them. Our volunteer fire departments just, above and beyond in terms of responding to this. And all of this was going on, the backdrop to why I went ahead and finally issued the disaster order on the fireworks is because when I've got hundreds of firefighters out there fighting 500 acres, the last thing we need to do is to make it worse. And from everything that I've observed, it looks like that we had a good result from that. So all things considered, I want to thank everybody that was involved in helping with the fire. I want to thank everyone that was involved in helping us transition to not selling the fireworks and putting the fireworks off this year. I think it was something critical for the health and safety of the citizens here. So,
Well, we only have so many volunteer firefighters in the county. So if they're all busy out there, a small fire can really get out of hand quick. So.
well, we haven't had one that big in a decade, I don't think, have we? I don't think we have.
The one out toward Junction was
It might have been, yeah.
big.
Okay, so with that, we've come to the end of our regular agenda, except for the timed items at 10 o'clock. So everybody can go get a cup of coffee and come back at 10, and we'll finish up. And then we have a brief executive session on a couple of personnel matters after that. So we will be adjourned until 10 o'clock. Court will come back to order. It is 10 o'clock, and the first item on the agenda for the 10 o'clock docket is item 1.10, which is a presentation on the 2021 annual report from for Kerr County from the Texas Department of State Health Services. And for those of you who heard us talk in the past about dishes, DSHS, this is them. They're here to talk to us today. We have a podium right here, and there's a camera. You're on YouTube when you get up there, by the way. This is your stage debut.
Fantastic. All right. Well, good morning. Thank you for having us. My name is Naylot DiPiazza. I am the public health nurse with the Texas Department of State Health Services, Region 8 in Kerrville. Our office covers Kerr County and Gillespie, and I wanted to give you a quick update on 2021, what we've been doing this past year, and going forward, what our office is working on. So I think for the most part, especially with COVID, everyone knows what we've been doing recently with COVID, the vaccine clinics. But I kind of wanted to give everyone an overview about what our office does and will continue to do. Our public health services provide health and community education, immunizations for eligible children and adults, and that's underinsured, uninsured, and children on Medicaid, and uninsured adults. Tuberculosis treatment and contact identification, HIV and STD testing, treatment, referral, and education. Of course, communicable disease investigations, i.e. COVID, was one of those, tuberculosis. Emergency preparedness and response, and general sanitation and food establishment inspections outside of Kerrville, because Kerrville has Mr. Darapo. Our office falls under the Maternal Child Health Title V Block Grant umbrella. So we are under the Community Health Improvement Program. The Maternal Child Health addresses the needs of Texas mothers, infants, children, and adolescents with and without special needs, and we do provide services to all ages. But of course, our niche is more towards the younger population. Our offices throughout the region focuses on several national prevention measures. These are the education and promotion of breastfeeding, child and adolescent injury prevention, such as car seat checks, the installs, the education, teen driving, water safety, mental health, etc. Obesity, and this is for children, adolescents, and adults. We partner with AgriLife and school health advisory councils for this. We promote wellness programs, nutrition, exercise, safe sleep and infant mortality. We provide education on safe sleep practices. And this is to parents and child care workers. Just recently in June, we had our last safe sleep and shaken baby syndrome course for child care providers, and we had over 80 child care workers from our area. We did that last year too. We've done that a couple of times now. Of course, tobacco cessation, specifically more towards women who smoke during pregnancy. Of course, I already covered the immunizations. Our office, of course, we provide the COVID-19 vaccinations on top of the regular immunizations. I believe this week we're going to begin offering the 6-month to 5-year COVID vaccine. I think our office might be one of the only few in this area that's going to be providing that vaccine. So we will have it available. Like I mentioned before, we do serve on the school health advisory councils for Kerrville, Centerpoint, and Ingram. We educate the community on human trafficking. We are part of the Stop Human Trafficking Task Force. So that is a task force that is comprised of, I'm thinking something like 18 counties or so in the area, especially being that the area that we're in, human trafficking is a very, very large concern. We are also doing our child fatality review. So the state mandates that each county have a CFRT that is supposed to review every child death that occurs in the county, in that particular county. We had a CFRT previously, but it went dormant. This last year, we've been working on restarting it, and it's actually been a collaboration of several agencies. So we have the Kerr County Sheriff's Department, Kerrville Police, Pearson Hospital, Kerrville Fire Department, and we are kind of a collaboration of 4 different counties. So right now we are combined with Gillespie, Bandera, and Kendall. and that's going really well so far. That's been great. So we are reviewing all of the child deaths that do occur in each of our counties. We do meet quarterly in a hybrid model, in person and online, and each quarter meeting is at a different location within our respective counties. We also inspect and install, distribute, and educate parents about child car seats. Excuse me. That is still a major problem in our state. And right now we're working on a heat stroke awareness campaign. So I believe earlier today, Misty Gordon with the fire department asked about the thermometer, the display. So we're working with them on that. And we are also starting a breastfeeding coalition for Kerr, Bandera, Gillespie, and Kendall. And especially with this last year, our formula shortage, we want to help encourage and keep our mothers breastfeeding for longer. And it's to provide resources to all the mothers in our area. And I also kind of wanted to go down and give you a quick overview of how our immunization numbers in our county. So we have on the report, on the actual Kerr County report, it has the percent of students with conscientious exemptions from immunizations filed at the school district level in Kerr County. It's 2.49%, down from 2.96% in 2020. So we actually had less students get a conscientious exemption from immunizations. And down below you can see our public health by the numbers. For 2021, we had 4,644 confirmed cases of COVID-19, 95 COVID-19 deaths in 2021, 166 cases of STDs, including HIV and AIDS, 23 retail food inspected, 12 school cafeterias inspected, 22 youth camp inspections, 10 clients received case management services through our specialized health and social services program, 8 rabies investigations conducted, 7 rabies positive animals found, and out of those we did have a family that we had to give the rabies immunoglobulin vaccine. 1 animal was quarantined, 46 general sanitation inspections, and then right here you'll see on the little pie chart our notifiable condition summary. The biggest one is a foodborne, waterborne illness. The rest are, well, actually we didn't have any healthcare associated conditions to report, and no vaccine preventable diseases to report for this year. And that is it. Thank you very much. Did you have any questions for me?
Y'all have any questions or comments?
Thorough.
I did want to introduce really quickly, I didn't get to do it,
Please.
I kind of went into it. So with me today is Norma Cardona-Price, who is our
And
community
if y'all would please go up with her.
Yeah, come on.
The public needs to
You
see
can share
that
YouTube
y'all are here
video.
with us.
Real
Yeah,
people.
not just me. Y'all want to introduce yourselves really quick?
Hi, my name is Brenda Holting. I work with NALOT and Norma, and Bridget here is our supervisor. I'm a nurse at the DSHS also.
I'm Norma Cardona-Price. I also work with NALOT and Brenda. I'm a community health specialist. I'm also a community health worker and a child passenger safety instructor.
And good morning. My name is Bridget Waller, and I started out as a public health nurse. Still have my nursing license, but have taken the supervisor role, so get to supervise all of these wonderful staff. So very nice to have us.
It was good to have y'all here. Thanks for coming.
Thanks so much.
Appreciate it.
And I attached, if you have any questions, anything later on, I have my business card attached to it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Okay. Always good to hear how we're doing up there. Next item, 10 o'clock, is 1.11. Consider, discuss, and take appropriate action to authorize the county judge to execute a change order of LCR Total Transport LLC in the amount of $11,051.70 for changes to the road reconstruction project on Shepherd Reese Road. Charlie Hastings.
Thank you, Judge. A meeting was held on June 21st, 2022 with Commissioner Precinct 1 Harley Ballou, the county engineer, the county road administrator, LCR Total Transport, and various road and bridge supervisors and engineering department personnel to discuss the need for a change order to close out the 2022 road reconstruction project Job C of the project, which was Shepherd Reese Road, has a typo in line item C5 of the bid tabulations. The unit price and total amount are listed as not applicable, but they were applicable in the construction documents, and they should have been left blank for the contractor to fill in the said unit price and the total for 2,251 linear feet to install centerline double yellow pavement striping. That's sites 1 and 2 only, complete in place. Now the contractor has done the striping. It had to be done. This was some gaps on Shepherd Reese. Remember, we had the areas that were destroyed by the winter storm, and then we had other areas in between that it makes no sense to reconstruct and skip over. If you're there, you just do it all. And that was a typo in the plans in the bid. In addition, anyway, if we were to extend the contractual unit price of $1.70 per linear foot from line items A1 from job line items A5 and B5 from jobs A and B, it yields a total amount of $3,826.70 that we owe this contractor for doing this work, and that's for line item C5. In addition, soft spots of caliche subgrade were encountered in the limestone base for 2 short stretches, each about 150 feet long, in sites number 1 and 2 of Job C of Shepherd Reese Road, resulting in the need for replacing and processing this substandard material with a heavy rock base. These soft spots are presumed to be from poor construction techniques when Shepherd Reese Road was originally reconstructed approximately 20 years ago. Kerr County Road and Bridge provided the heavy rock base for LCR to incorporate into the soft spots. This resulted in about 1.5 days of extra equipment and manpower for LCR total transport, totaling $7,225. The total of this change order is $11,051.70. There is no change in the allotted time to complete the project. All construction was completed on June 7th, 2022. This proposed change order results in an increase of roughly 3% over the original contract amount. The county engineer requests that the court authorize the county judge to execute the change order with LCR Total Transport LLC in the amount of $11,051.70 for changes to the 2022 road reconstruction project on Shepherd Reese Road. This is precinct 1.
As I listened to the explanation of this, meeting with these guys, what they ran into with the substandard material underneath could have been part of the reason for the road failure, but when they discovered it, they had to fix it. That's the conscientious thing to do as a contractor, and then hope that we would pay them for it. So, and they didn't really charge us for everything they did. So, I move for approval.
Second. You got a motion and a second to approve the change order as requested. So they did something right, and now we're going to do right by them.
Yes. Good way to say it.
Fair enough. With that, those in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous. Moving on to item 1.12, which is to consider, discuss, and take appropriate action for the court to approve a revision of plat for YL Ranchlands Track 46B, 46C, and 49A, Precinct 4. Charlie Hastings.
Thank you, Judge. We did hold a public hearing on this on June 13th. The plat just didn't have all the signatures at that time, but just as a recap, this proposal adjusts and combines 3 existing tracks into 2 tracks. Track 46B is currently 42 acres. Track 46C is currently 42.05 acres, and track 49A currently 45.88 acres. These are some pretty big lots here. They will be revised into just 2 tracks, track 46BR and 49AR. Track 46BR will be 63.03 acres with road frontage on Camino Wyo West, and track 49AR will be 66.90 acres with frontage on Camino Wyo West and Indian Camp Road. County engineer requests the court approve a revision of plat for YO Ranchlands, tracks 46B, 46C, and 49A, Volume 5, page 345, and Volume 6, page 128. It's Precinct 4.
I move for approval.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to approve the revision of plat of YL Ranchlands as presented. Any discussion? Those in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous, 4-0. Okay, Mr. Ernie, we're now getting to you. Item 1.13, this is a public hearing to discuss the closure of the 100 block of Kelly Street during school hours on regular school days from Monday through Friday, 7:45 a.m. to 3:45 p.m. The Centerpoint Independent School District will place the barricades up each morning and remove them in the afternoon. This is a public hearing. Is there anyone here that would like to address the court with regard to this matter? There being none, then I will adjourn the public hearing, and we'll move on to item 1.14, which is to consider, discuss, and take appropriate action regarding the closure of the 100 block of Kelly Street during school hours on regular school days from Monday through Friday, 7:45 a.m. to 3:45 p.m. And the Centerpoint Independent School District will place barricades up each morning and remove them in the afternoon. Michael Ernie.
Yes, sir. As Commissioners, Judge, thank you again for having me here. My name is Michael Ernie. I'm the Centerpoint ISD Chief of Police. As discussed previous, property owners on Kelly Street have been notified in writing and on they were hand delivered and mailed. Also, one of the property owners is a retired superintendent of Centerpoint. All his kids have graduated from Centerpoint, so they understand the urgency that we have in the safety of our kids on Kelly Street. So everything was posted in the newspaper and approved, and also posted on our website and went out to parents.
Very good.
It's you.
I met with Charlie on this issue and went over the whole thing, and the best I can tell, they've got a problem and have solved a problem, and appreciate the way they've done it. I move for approval.
Second.
We've got a motion and a second to approve the recommendation to close Kelly Street as presented. Any discussion? Those in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous, 4-0. And then follow up 1.15, consider, discuss, take appropriate action to approve the interlocal agreement with Centerpoint Independent School District regarding the use of the Hill Country Youth Event Center as an evacuation center in case of emergency. Chief Ernie.
Yes, sir. It is an oversight on my part in 2021, I came before the court and asked for permission to use. I didn't realize until updating my emergency operation plans this year that it was only active or only valid for 1 year. So I missed out on the 2021-22 school year, so I apologize for that. And I'm just asking for reconsideration to allow Centerpoint as our reunification site. We have off-campus evacuation sites that we use temporarily, but if we have to have a big off-scale evacuation where a school is closed, then we would like the court's permission to be able to use the exhibit hall as our reunification site for parents to pick up kids.
I move for approval.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to approve using the Hill Country Youth Event Center as an evacuation center for CPISD. Good thing you didn't have an emergency. You wouldn't have any place to go, right?
Yes, sir.
I think they'd let him in.
No. we understand we do that. We renew them from year to year.
We would have figured it out.
But trust me, we would have taken care of it.
Yes, sir, I understand. I apologize to the court. It was an oversight on my part. I didn't think that it was for a year, so I'm sorry. But we're good now.
Everybody makes a mistake.
Yes, sir.
Any other discussion? Those in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Okay, I think that concludes our docket except for executive session. So we have one correction to make.
We've got a couple. First of all, on our monthly reports, I inadvertently, for May 2022, read payroll report, and it should have been monthly report. So I'd like to amend that, and with that, I move for approval of the correction.
Okay, that's item 2.5 on the agenda.
Yes, sir.
And we're going to amend that to include monthly payroll.
Say monthly report as opposed to payroll report as it was said earlier.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to amend the approval as presented. Any discussion? Those in favor, raise your hand. It's fixed. Unanimous.
During the break, I was also able to read over the court orders, and court orders 39-387 through 39-406 from Monday, 6/27/2022 regular meeting, and they all look in order, so I move for approval.
Second.
We've got a motion and a second to approve the court orders as presented. Our extended break actually benefited us.
Yes,
We
it did.
got all this stuff fixed up. So with that, those in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous. That's been a very successful docket today. We're going to go ahead and adjourn at this time into executive session on a couple of personnel matters, and then we'll come out after that, see if we have any action. So, court stands in recess. 5, and we're coming out of executive session, and we're back on record. And I'm going to call item 5.1, which is action as may be required for matters discussed in executive session. And I will make a motion that we accept the resignation of Jennifer Doss as the Human Resources Director here at Kerr County, effective immediately. And authorize me to send her a letter accepting her resignation and scheduling a specific time for her to come pick up her personal effects.
Second.
Any discussion? Those in favor, raise your hand.
Can I make a suggestion? If we get property returned, or county property needs to be returned.
Okay, well, let's go back to what we put in the letter. We put in the letter that we accept the resignation immediately. We'll set an appointment for her to be able to return property, Kerr County property, and for her to be able to pick her personal effects. Anything else we need to put in the letter?
I don't think so.
And I'm looking to Jody over there because you and I are going to do this. Okay, so any other discussion? Those in favor, raise your hand. Unanimous, 4-0. Nothing else before the court at this time? We've taken it under advisement, Dawn. Well, there we go.
Okay.
Court will be adjourned.